Alrighty, you are live. The floor is yours.
Okay, we're live. We're ready to open the meeting on November the 17th, 2021. I would entertain a motion for the approval of the previous minutes.
I second, Martin.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passed. Good morning, Sherry.
The first list is digest changes for personal property, Park Hill, settlement agreement, and some homestead and ownership changes. The first three are personal property appeals. I recommend no change on the first two, and the third one is a customer at a data center here in Douglas County, and I was able to verify they did not have any equipment as of January 1st. So I recommend that we zero the value on that account. And the next group is personal property reviews. First one is correcting the model. We didn't have the model information when we first made the assessment, and the owner did furnish that information. The second one, they moved out of the county in 2020, so we avoid that account for 21. The next one, they sold the boat prior to January 1st, 2021, so avoiding that account. Number 4, he had 2 boats, sold one of them, so making that correction. We will provide the proof of the sale. And number 5, we had a new owner for that business, and we have already added the new owner, account number 95176, so we're avoiding the old account. And the next one, we were able to verify the business closed in 2018, so we're avoiding that account for 19, 20, 21. Number 7.
Excuse me, Sherry. I'm
Yes,
looking at the memorandum dated November the 3rd. Am I looking at the right one?
No.
What you're discussing, I'm not seeing.
That could be confusing.
I'm not seeing.
I'm not sure why that was in there. Sorry about that.
So just quick question, Sherry, on number 6, were there any taxes paid at all for 19?
No, sir. So it's going to be a credit.
That's more better.
Okay. And then number 7, they actually, when they filed their return, they included the real estate, and they provided the information to verify that, so they made an error, but it does need to be corrected. Number 8 was an increase in value for review of documents furnished. Number 9 is correcting the value for 20 and 21 for a field review. Number 10 is voiding the account for 20 and 21. We were able to verify that the business closed in 2019. Number 11, we had an estimated value on the account. They did report their assets, and the estimated value failed to be removed, so making a correction for 2021. And then number 12, new owner, so we're taking off the old owner, and we've already added the new owner. And under settlement agreements prior to Board of Equalization, these are appeals that have already been through the Board of Assessors that were waiting on Board of Equalization hearings, and then they were able to furnish information. The first one is homestead, and they furnished their residency documents. So prove the S1 on that appeal. And number 2, they actually did not, they furnished documentation, they did not have any inventory at a third-party warehouse here in Douglas County. And then Park Hills. First one is no change. The next 2 were changes based on the condition, mileage, and value. And the last group is homestead ownership exemption changes. Most of those are approved and exemptions for proof of residency or Texas Veterans exemption. They have until December 31st to file for the disabled veterans exemption. So I'll let you kind of look over those, and if y'all have any questions, let me know. Oh, number 1 is a non-disclosure. The property owner furnished information to verify that our current government ownership information doesn't show up to the public.
That's like any government.
School board, school employees, government employees. They don't have to live in this county, it can be just longer government employees.
So go from pretty much from 2 to 5 to provide the proof.
Yep.
And then 12 and 13.
I have a note at the very end of my list, I had voided an account, and I listed the wrong account number. The assets were actually on a different account, and I kind of swapped them. I had listed to avoid account number 93211, it should have been 92199, and that was at the June 29th meeting, so I just wanted to make that correction.
Okay.
The paperwork was all handled correctly, I just had it listed wrong in the minute, or in my list.
Looks pretty straightforward to me. I was entertaining a motion to approve those items.
I make a motion that we.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you, Sherry.
These are all personal property accounts. The first couple, we were able to verify the business did close in 2019, so we take it off for 2021. Number 4 has been added to number 5. So number 4 we're zeroing, number 5 we're increasing.
Nice increase.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the increase.
There were some other assets as well that are being added to the account. Next one is just make an adjustment after reviewing the account. Slight change on that one. And then 7 and 8, we were actually able to verify they did not have any equipment at the data centers in Douglas County, so that's why those 2 being moved.
Previously had equipment.
Correct. Yeah, they're just kind of listed separate because they're below the taxable, threshold. But the first one, the assets are already on another account. So we're just voiding that one. Next one is we're adding, it's still, won't get a tax bill, but, we're adding that account. And then number 16, making an adjustment after reviewing the account. Slight adjustment.
I'd entertain a motion to approve these items. Is noted.
I'll make a motion to approve the items as noted.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Motion passed.
And the last item I have is, results from Board of Equalization meeting on November the 3rd. I had a homestead exemption denial, which the Board of Equalization upheld. The next one was a Freeport denial issue. Well, it was late, I'm sorry, they filed their return late. But the Board of Equalization upheld that as well, the late filing, because they did file after the deadline. And then the last one, the company stated they didn't have any inventory at a third-party business here in Douglas County, but they did not furnish any information to verify that. And the company here does state that they have the inventory. They verified the inventory was there. But Board of Equalization upheld our no change on that one as well. You don't need to take any action, I just.
And why?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Sherry, excuse me, prior to the meeting ending, we'll need to sign
Oh,
document.
let me look.
we won't sign them right now, right before we adjourn the meeting, we'll sign it.
That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Ms. Wellington?
okay. Got, pretty much our last, appeals, 2021 appeals. We will have a few here and there come back just for various reasons. But this is, the majority of what's left. On page 1 is our commercial. And the first one, 1615D 85, the value was originally at 685.5, and the current value is recommended at 526,400. That was due to an effective year built, and there was an income pro forma that was done on this, and the income came up to 567.21. So that was in line more with what the current fair market value is. 49,157, 2,919,500. Current fair market value is 2,749,300. That's a 6% adjustment downward, and that was a grade adjustment for uniformity. And then 5115C10, the value was at 2,147,400. Current value recommended at 1.8 million, a 16% reduction. And the income supports this value as well. The income came up with 1,764,941. Parcel 155,15219. Our original fair market value was at 1,205,100. Current value recommended at 1,055,000. The income approach value was 1,058,783. Real close on that one. Parcel 129,2521. Original value was 931,900. Current value is 715,000. There was an economic adjustment applied to this one due to the location, came up to 691,583. Next parcel 143,2543. That value reduction is due to there was a tennis court that had been omitted in previous years that we had added. So they're not going to be happy because we went up on that one. 257,1826. We removed the effective year built. There was no need for it to even be on here. So that one consisted of an 11% reduction. 360,1821. There was a small addition that was added, and the old front porch was relabeled as screen porch, as well as there was a side porch added. Next page is the commercial that's continued. Parcel 372,1822. That value reduction of 4%. The income supported that value of 3,289,426. Parcel 373,1828. That one went up 5%. There was a land over the ride that was left on from previous year's appeal, and it was removed. 476,1822. There was a recreation metal room, 3 decks, and a lounge room that was added by the pool. This resulted in a small upward value, but it wasn't enough of a change to make a percent. Added a cookout area by the clubhouse on parcel 476,1825. And then 626,1825. The used as section went from a storage to a mini warehouse for uniformity on that one. 678,1826. The income, was down due to the COVID on this one, but we did apply a 10% reduction that had already been applied on a 299C in the past. And the last one on our commercial section is 876-1823. The income supports this value of 13 million. The income was 12,617,018. I want to skip down below the account correction appeals, because what those actually are appeals that you're going to see in the following pages, but it was also account correction for other years, if that makes sense. Or do you guys just want to look this over without me talking, the appeals section? You could see the original and the current value, the percent change, and of course it's going to be for 2021 tax year appeals, and then the action that was taken per field inspections. And that's on the bottom of page 3 of 13, page 4, 5, it's quite a few of them, 6, I think it goes all the way to the top of 12 to 13. And these were all just, again, appeals that were worked in the field with various changes, characteristic changes on the property record card. If there's anything that jumps out at you, if you want to talk about it, we can. I do know on page 4, that one may jump out in the middle of the page. 2115B32, that shows 150% reduction. That lot is actually on the corner of Adair and Duncan Street, and it's flat, and it's been appealed in the previous years, and it was put on as unbuildable, but it is buildable. That's why we went up so much. We changed it to buildable. I think the rest of them. In page 6, that one is actually, it was a house, and we did the corrections. The action on that was we changed it to a duplex, and there was plumbing updates, condition updates, and so forth.
These are all residential, correct?
Yes, they're all residential.
Just a quick question on page 11 in the middle there, 5291826, went down 35%, applied 10% buildable adjustment.
That one, let me check the card on that document. Yeah, that's a valid question. Okay, yeah, this was a lot that was deemed unbuildable by our engineering department. So that's what the 10% just means it's backwards. It's 10% good and 90% off. So that was backwards the way they said it. But that's what that is. It's an unbuildable lot, and we had it on there, the value buildable. Looks like the rest of them are pretty much here and there, minor changes.
Yeah, I had an appeal that's ongoing at this time, and I got a letter that said that y'all denied the appeal. I didn't see the number in here. I looked through the number, I didn't see the parcel number in here. I wanna make sure I don't vote on it.
Oh, okay, that may be one we pulled out on purpose.
Okay.
If it's a no change, then it wouldn't be in there because they don't
Okay,
vote on
that's
no
right.
changes.
Okay, then no
Yeah, it
change.
wouldn't be,
Okay,
right, sorry.
Okay, that's
One
okay.
thing, yeah. Does anybody have any questions on any of these? Okay. All right,
I would entertain a motion to approve.
well, I've got the account corrections at the
Okay,
bottom,
we still have
yeah,
the account.
we're still going. Yeah, this is the last section. Account corrections on page 12 and the top of 13. The first one is Pine Brook Mobile Home Park, lot 11. The mobile home was taken off in error, so we reinstated that value.
I've never seen that big a percentage. I didn't know that big of a percentage.
I'm not even sure, I don't know. 62-25101, that's just a mailing address change for our PT 61 form. No value change on that one. And then at the top of 13, 215314 for the tax years of 20 and 21. This was a no value change, but we found an error on our frozen base, and it should have been at 89.6 instead of 90,400. So we have to set the base floats in this department, and that was incorrectly calculated due to a previous error, and we didn't fix the base float due to the error. So that's what that is. 4915A21, no change on this one. This was actually a claim for property refund form that somebody had filled out, and there was no change to warrant on this property. 159357. This is a no change in value, but you'll see the corrected CUBA exemptions were adjusted from 13,210 to 123,590. That was done in error in the past as well. And I did want to tack on one that I got this morning just because it came from WSA, Tom Auger from WSA. He advised me that this property should be on exempt instead of taxable, which I found that to be true because WSA had bought this property in 2020. We should have changed it from taxable to exempt. So I wanted to make that change as well. The value was at $113,800, and this was a house and lot. But the house has been demoed now. So it'll just be a lot on it exempt. The parcel number is 923-1826. That's an add-on.
Would that be for both 2020 and 2021?
Yes. No, it'd be 2021. It's 20, yeah. He bought it after January the 1st of 2020, so it'll be for 2021.
Okay.
Okay, and this one I think we skipped over. Yeah, the ones, if you go back to page 3 of 13, these were account corrections done for other years. 92,550. That one was on page. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, you see the appeal down at, I'm sorry, you see the appeal down at the bottom, this is not in order, but 92,550 at the bottom, the original value was 416,400, and, the appeal reduction was due to field inspections brought the value to 398,700, which was a 4% decrease, and then on top of that, they filed a, refund claim for, the years of 19 and 20. And this was due to the heated square footage. The finished basement was changed to fair finished basement. That's for all 3 years. It takes care of the appeal plus the 2019 and the 2020 year. 217, 257, and 121. Those go in conjunction with each other.
In case they're moving house from
One to the other, yeah. It was, the house was put on the wrong parcel in there. And so that completes the list. Get a motion on that?
I would entertain a motion to approve this list, these items.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the items as presented, dated November 17, 2021.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Motion passed.
Okay, on the last section, I had discussion written on the last page, and this is for parcels 193,507, 193,525, and 193,528. And this was a parcel that was in the covenant, and they had went through some splits, and they had actually sold it as well. And I'm gonna let Leanne, she got there, explain the process and how this came about to advise the board. So you have the floor. Do you want to go up there? Okay.
Good morning.
As we stated, this is a conservation covenant, and what I've given you, just so you could kind of look over it and know in the pack, you have the maps. The parcels are 193,525 and 193,507. The first map is the original map. This is before the parcels were split.
Yes.
And then attached is where you see parcels 193,507, 193,528, and then the little piece is 5 acres, 193,525. So I wanted you to see that. There was a split, there was a sale. The previous owner sold, and the new owner did not continue the covenant. So we had called a breach on both parcels. And the reason why we had done that, on this copy of this application, you can see that we had two parcels filed as one covenant. So if they breach one, they breach both. So this is just a reminder. We talked about this one, and just refreshing your memory. And we did calculate. I've also got, just for your records, for you to see, letters that I had sent. We didn't have a correct address at one point. That was updated. I had reached out for them to continue the covenant. And I showed you that it went into the covenant 2013. And then the last page shows where, we've got the breach for both parcels of the amount due. And so, we have the tax bills that show that the original covenant holder received the conservation covenant tax break. And, what's happened now, the reason they're back is because both parties have filed an appeal. Let's see, one side is, appeal of the notice of the breach of the covenant as set forth in the letter, and, they requested a hearing concerning this matter. And then the other one, I think this is it. Just a second. They've appealed, what they're stating is that there was not a legal document filed.
Wait till it's over, or you want me to?
This is on behalf of the purchasers. This attorney that filed this appeal on behalf of the purchasers. And, he says that it makes clear a copy of the approved application must be recorded in the office of the clerk of Superior Court. If the application is so not recorded, then the real property records of transferring of the property affected shall not be bound by the covenant. And so what he's referring to in this stack of papers that I gave you, the second set, if you look at the front located here, is the date on this covenant. What had happened was, it went in 2010, there was some questions about how it went in, it was removed in 2013, it was appealed, and then got re-entered in based on that appeal. And, so we put it back as a new covenant beginning in 2013 through 2022. When you go to the clerk of court, you don't see this. You only see where the original covenant was filed. So this attorney is stating that this is not a correct, valid covenant, and so therefore they filed this based on that. And there was, a mediation, and there was documents filed where both parties signed. Here's the civil action, final order and judgment, and you see that it's signed there, and then you see both parties have signed the last page. And this is for both parties. The problem was also, this order was not attached to this covenant when it was filed. It should have been, I think, but either way, it was filed. And so, based on the fact that we have this and this, I guess I recommend that we go forward with this unless you have some discussions or questions, and that the board would say no change and let the breach continue.
Yes, the attorney, our attorney giving his recommendation.
You said that according to this and this document, that it should all be good.
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, plus the fact that, I mean, they got the tax break.
That's the
And that's clear and compelling evidence that they knew what was going on. Plus, you have all the facts.
It's tough right now, that's why I'm like counting all my coins.
Maybe when they turn it from the way
Let's try to get in.
Reconsider it. But particularly, it all boils down to me what Mr. Coons said. He recommends going forward with no change.
He actually just came on.
Okay, you're good. I was hoping you would.
Bob, are you there?
Yeah. You better get you some
He
wine,
didn't
girl.
say that.
Yes,
Stay lit.
We have a question, for you on the, The breach
I ain't
that
gonna lie to you,
occurred,
that extra
on
anxiety
the
pill
parcel
today,
was
I'm
at
like-
193.57 and 25.
Extra thing.
That was on Tyree Road.
That's all you got. You like, oh, I didn't know
There was a
exactly
breach
that's
called
what-
on this one, and due to, the technicality of the,
Yeah. See, I used to like.
Can you hear me
get in
okay?
trouble every day.
Yes,
'Cause I be cussing everybody out, getting on my nerves and shit.
Final order.
the final order and judgment that was used to,
Right.
defend their stand on this. Do you remember that one?
See, that's what y'all do. Y'all don't take the medicine.
It was due to the 2013, we took them out of the, wildlife.
Right.
Wow. No, I don't remember, but what's your question?
Right. Right.
So as it stands, they appealed, both parties have appealed, and one side has specifically stated that this is not a valid covenant, because we did not update the covenant. We had it filed as 2010 through 2019, but on our records, we corrected that, because we put him back in 2013, like a new covenant starting over.
And they received a tax break for all those years also.
And,
They did not, or they did?
They did. They-
yeah, and then there's copies signed by you and the, appellant attorneys to where it was, I guess mediated
Oh,
and
this super day.
continued from 2013 on,
Okay, so that would make it 2023?
through 2022.
Oh, okay. So is that what ultimately was agreed to?
That's what was agreed to. The only problem was that when you go to the clerk of court, you don't see that final judgment attached to that original covenant, so that's what they're basing their appeal on, I believe.
Okay, so it was agreed to, but we never, attached it to the file that the covenant is in.
Right, and we never updated the covenant that was filed on records. We
Oh,
just
boy.
stated it here in the office, and then the, final order was filed.
Okay, so our records just weren't updated to reflect what had been resolved.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta go meet her down
Okay,
there.
well, it sounds to me like the covenant's not up until 2022. Just because we didn't update our records doesn't necessarily mean it's not applicable.
That was Leanne's opinion.
And that's kind of where we were at, and just wanted your input.
Right, I may have answered this once before, but I think that's probably accurate, because they'd have a good chance of upholding what the final resolution was, even though we didn't technically hook it to the covenant, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we had talked about this a while back. We just,
Okay, yeah, I think the safe thing is that,
Yeah.
to continue it through 2022.
yeah. So my recommendation based on these facts was just to proceed forward with the breach and let them take their appeal to the next level, I guess, is what they'll wind up doing.
I'm not understanding, what is the breach? Even though it was extended, they still breached, is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah, he sold it, and the new.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's the way it should proceed.
I would entertain a motion to continue with the breach.
I can make a motion that we continue with the bridge.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just one question here, when I was seeing this right, the lake was added,
No, that was there.
that was it.
The only difference in the map 1 and map 2, and I'm sorry we didn't have them in color, they split out this 5 acres, and the parcel never changed, so it involved another parcel when this took place. So I just wanted you to see it was this parcel and this parcel, and then that was what was split out. This was the one that has a covenant on it, that was parcel 25, but it was all of this. And that's how it looks per the new split. And so,
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Motion passed.
Who made the motion and the second on that?
Martin made the motion and Rita made the second.
Cool, thank you so much.
I've asked Bob to come today to update the board on, a situation that we've been dealing with for some time. Bob, I think I'm gonna give you the floor here to speak on, 215134. I believe it's the parcel. Who's that?
I think he just.
Oh. Are you there, Bob? I think you're on mute.
Now I'm done.
Let's go, better.
Okay.
Should this be discussed in executive session?
I laid
It's
that.
not a court case though, so, but would it be under like talking to your attorney about stuff? But it's not a court case.
It's not a court case,
Not a
but due
court
to the
case,
nature of it, I'm
There-
sorry?
There has been, I don't want to use the word threatened, but it has been indicated that potential legal action is going to be taken.
Well, I mean, are you advising us that we should go into executive session?
Wow.
Under advisement of our counsel.
Well, we've got nothing to hide, so
No, I mean, it's all,
it's all, it's all a matter of record, so.
Okay.
So we can move forward.
Okay,
So Lynn, you want me to take charge?
Yes, sir, I do. I don't speak on this. I'd rather you do it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate inheriting this case. The short version is this. We assessed the property. An appeal was made. Allegations were made that, and no persons were ever mentioned, but allegations were made that we were not treating this taxpayer fairly, and she accused us of discrimination and things of that nature. So as we typically do, once the appeal was filed, we reviewed the property, and I'm not sure. I think we may have even gone out to the property, but there was an issue regarding the flooring in terms of it had to be corrected. So that was corrected, and a new value was made. The case that went to the Board of Equalization, and the taxpayer sought a value that was lower than our corrected value. And the Board of Equalization agreed with the taxpayer on the value she asserted. We did not appeal that, so it was final. And the taxpayer continued to write emails. There was one day that I got, as I recall, 11 emails from the taxpayer on the same day, indicating that we had miscalculated something or another. I still am not certain as to where she was coming from, but in any event, I asked I asked Lynn to re-review it again, which we did, and we discovered that in 2020, an improper or an incorrect value associated to the homestead was placed on the property. It didn't change the fair market value, which was the same in 2020 and 2021, but it did change the calculation of the actual tax. As I recall, for 2021, the difference was about $4 something less, and for 2020 it was about $50 something less. So if we have those actual amounts, my recommendation is that we approve the refunds. I hope that made sense.
that's actually in regards to what you're looking at, the top two on there.
And I did communicate with the taxpayer once Lynn gave me the approximate amounts. I gave her those and made sure she knew it was approximate. I also indicated that we were going to consider this today and that my recommendation would be that we approve the refunds.
The question, if the refunds are approved, then will this, be settled or will this be resolved?
I'm not sure it'll be resolved, frankly. I mean, I don't know that there's much more we can do. Her allegations have never been specific in terms of what we did or didn't do. We didn't treat this any differently than any other piece of property. In fact, I think we went above and beyond to try to see what could be done. But I think she has a misconception that the changing in the description of the floor somehow affected the BOE decision, and in fact it did not. The BOE decision was $120,000, which was the same for 2020, and we did not appeal that. So from my perspective, that finalizes the case. She filed 2 Opens Records Act requests. We responded to those. And actually, I haven't heard from her since I sent her the proposed refunds.
I would entertain a motion to approve the refund.
Motion to approve as stated.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay. I'm sorry. I've been waiting since then. I've been trying to figure out how to get on. My furnace is out, so I had planned to physically be there, but I got up, took a shower, but the furnace was out. And so I'm waiting for the repairman to come. So I'll stay on if it's okay with y'all.
I don't know, that's all I have today.
Yeah, Bob, all we have is you'll hear some paper shuffling while we sign paper, because we can't post the meeting until we sign all the papers.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too, Bob.
Thanks, guys and gals.
Meeting's gonna be.
Thank you.
Hey, Lynn, do you need to do the BOEs before the next meeting? To talk about them, if they're gonna take them to court or not?
Yeah, hang on one second on that, I forgot about those.
Got one more item, Bob.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, nothing important, overly important. I mean, when's the next meeting that you guys want to meet? December 1st or the week after that?
December the 8th would be okay with me, but December the 1st is good too. I'll be gone the 9th through the 15th. So, the 1st is 2 weeks, but then we can work something in maybe on the 14th, so we'll avoid Christmas. Well, I mean the 16th, we'll avoid Christmas. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and see.
Okay.
More than that, we'll probably go on the 9th.
Okay, so did you guys want to do it on the 1st then?
The first, probably the 16th and 17th will be a week, but no, that's y'all won't have to do with me. But we'll try the first right now. We'll plan on the 1st, Kelly. Everybody is good for the 1st.
Yep.
So we'll go back to the 9 o'clock. If that's good for y'all, if y'all like 10 o'clock, we'll be 10 o'clock at 9 o'clock. Please do a little bit. Okay. Yeah, you can start signing it.
This one says
Oh, yes. I don't know if it's just me or ours, but we can just. I'll double check it here.
Okay.
Make sure. But I believe you all have to sign that, please.
Well, you know, Leanne, it won't hurt if they just initial, will it? Even if they don't sign it?
I don't think it hurt anything at all.
It's initial.
Okay.
She wants more, we'll get more.
So you start the singing and it goes around.
Feel weird.
Well,
Yeah.
what we do is we copy you. See if it's
Oh, okay.
correct.
And this is both parts, they're doing this one appeal, so.
Okay.
MWH.
I don't know, one in here,
What's the other
the
man?
last, mine's double ply, so it's like really hot.
Okay.
I think this one's meant more for winter months.
Tell me.
Gonna have to be a lot cooler for this one. I'm like, no, I'm not lasting the fire.
Proposed deed.
Everybody initial.
Yes, so. You know, they sign mine, so I'm gonna slide on.
Okay.
That is the next Sunday, later in the day.
All right, what you're looking at is, November the 3rd BOE meeting. We have 3 parcels here. The first one, 62517, you see there was about a 5.5%, cut there on that one. And the second one, about a 6%, and there was a no change for the third one, so I think these are acceptable.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the BOE meeting results of 11/3/21.
Make a motion to accept the BOE meeting results from 11/3.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, and the next meeting would be November the 4th. The ones you see that's boxed out, highlighted, I think those are supposed to be a no change, but I can't speak on behalf of the BOE. But, I had called to see if they wanted to run these back through. I never did hear an answer back. So we have to make a decision whether to accept them or not. It's minute, so I just recommend that we just move forward with them.
So you said we do need to accept them today?
Yes.
They do them today?
Yeah, I would just accept them. The BOE secretary had indicated she had already sent the letter out, regarding these new, values, so I would just, instead of trying to correct it, it would be not really worth it because of the value change is so insignificant, really.
Anything else, of note on these? You can see the 34%.
Yeah, that was just a land, reduction, and I'm in agreement with that.
Okay.
That Chapel Hill or actually Hill Hill?
Chapel, that was a typo. Chapel Hill. Good catch.
We'll entertain a motion to approve these items.
Maybe make a motion to approve the items of the BOE meeting dated 11/4/2021.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
That is truly all I have.
Thank you. See you in a little bit.
Okay, you
Do I need
guys
to
ready
sign
to
this
start
one?
signing?
Do I need to sign this one?
Yes, sir, you do. I've got some more for you. This one, the board needs to sign, here, everybody. Okay, thank you.
This is Sherry's stuff. You want me to keep it separate from your stuff?
And I need these as well, Bob.
Okay.
So not all these are paper clips.
I'm sorry, they should be. I think they fell off.
Okay.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
That
That didn't sound good.
So oh, good.
There it is.
Thinking of Paul, Paul.
I was just keeping rubber bands so it wouldn't fall.
I understand.
I didn't want to pick them up.
If you want to move these two columns, one store on this column. You hear anything about mixing these piles up?
Oh, yeah, that,
Those job descriptions for administrative work, say that you have to be able to lift about 50 pounds. Getting close to it, I thought police tax. Yeah, police tax is kind of close.
that's this one. It's just the front.
Okay.
That one I think is yeah, I know those are, I'm sorry. Sorry. These are done. Are these done?
I'll do the steps.
Okay.
This is missing, this one's missing the signature. Yeah, missing one. Never mind.
Yes.
We've done Sherry.
Okay.
Sherry found it.
Say yes, no?
I think it's Sherry. We found it.
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
I was entertaining a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passed. The meeting is adjourned. Everything.